Nigeria's fast-shifting political conversation. In recent days, the ADC has made headlines for two reasons. Its call on President Tinubu to declare a state of emergency in Katsina and Zamfara over escalating insecurity, as well as the internal controversy surrounding its new leadership and spokesperson. Questions are now being raised about the party's structures, its coalition role, as well as even who legitimately speaks for it. This comes on the heels of the just concluded by-elections, which many saw as a litmus test for the opposition's strength ahead of 2027. While the ruling APC consolidated its grip, the ADC and its coalition allies insist the exercise was marked by violence, voter intimidation, and systemic irregularities. So where does this leave the ADC as an emergent voice of opposition, or as a party still struggling to align its internal machinery with its national ambitions? Joining me tonight to take us beyond the headlines is Bolaji Abdullahi, the party's National Publicity Secretary, who was former Minister of Youth and Sports under President Goodluck Jonathan and one-time National Publicity Secretary of the APC. Mr. Abdullahi, thank you for joining us on Beyond the Headlines.
Thank you very much, and I'm delighted to join you. And I'm delighted you don't introduce me now yet as a factional spokesman.
Well, I am going to leave you guys to decide whether it's factional or not. But I'll just take National Publicity Secretary for now.
Thank you.
Why do we still see what seems a resistance from some quarters of your party? Because some of them are warning you now to stop parading as spokesperson. They labeled it unauthorized and misleading.
You see, I'm sorry to say this, but I say it with all sense of responsibility. I'm a trained journalist, and I take that very seriously. I think the opportunities that we give for everyone to just call, anyone that so desires to just call a press conference, and once he calls a press conference and make any claims, then we take it and begin to go to town with it. And begin to say, oh, there is crisis, oh, there is faction. I think we can do a lot better than that. For example, the individual that came up yesterday, I keep forgetting his name, from Gombe, I think, who claimed to be the national chairman. He wasn't saying anything yesterday other than what he had said several weeks ago. And the question I asked is, how many of our colleagues attended this press briefing, and did they ask him the basis for his claim? Because after he came out the last time I made the claims that he made yesterday again, we showed evidence that he had resigned his position from the party. Then he proceeded to say that his signature was forged, that he actually didn't resign from the party. And we said to him back then, if your signature was forged, that means you are alleging crime. So if crime is committed, if crime was committed and some people actually forged your signature, why didn't you report to the police? Why are you holding press conferences? Why don't you report to the police? Because forgery is a very serious crime. You know, then he afterwards said, okay, he was going to go to court. Now, the question I expected him to be asked is, your assumption of your claim to the position that you are claiming yourself to be, is it as a result of the court process that you claim you wanted to file? Or what happened? What happened yesterday that made this newsworthy, that made it suddenly possible for you to come and make the kind of claim? He said he had taken over the secretariat of the party. I expect that we'll ask him, which secretariat is he talking about? Because we are still in the process of setting up our secretariat. So which secretariat is he talking about? You know, so all these things, I believe that, I know it's good for the headlines, it's good for content, TV, to say there's crisis, and so people are fighting and all that. But there's no such thing. The process that brought us into the ADC as a coalition was very clear, was very transparent. And we ensured that we followed every single process that we needed to follow. So, but I also know that it has become lucrative at this time for people to come forward and make claims and start saying that they, after participating in the entire process. So I think that for me, it's not something that bother us. It's not something we are concerned about.
Indeed.
People can continue to amuse themselves whenever way they want. But the unfortunate thing is that we seem to be giving credence to some of these things that are going on. We're not asking the kind of question that we ought to ask.
I like the way you've confidently played it down, but you are also aware of freedom of expression and the fact that journalists need to also hear from all the sides. For instance,
I'm not saying that you black them out or not listen to them. I'm just saying that there are some key questions that could help.
I hear you.
Give greater insight to Nigerians about what is going on.
I hear you, and I understand you
to make claims. Yeah.
Quite clearly. You can be sure that we're also going to hear from that side and take some of the recommended questions as insight. But there's one Christopher Okechukwu who also claims to be spokesman for the same party. According to him, you do not meet the necessary requirements to serve as publicity secretary. The requirement, according to him, requires that you obtain a nomination form, secure nominations from at least 3 party members across the 36 states, including FCT, among others. What exactly legitimizes your claim to this role? Because as we speak now, I checked INEC's website before this interview, and it's still listing certain names. For instance, there is still Chief Ralph Nwosu and Said Baba Abdullahi as chairman and secretary. Does that baffle you?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't, because I can explain to you what is going on. I mean, we are since the last NEC meeting, we've been in conversation with INEC, and some of these things are just merely procedural. I know there is a tendency to think that some kind of conspiracy is going on, or INEC is working against us and all that. We are not going to go down that route. We're a responsible political party. We are not going to just throw allegations around. We don't have any reasons at this time to think that INEC is working against us. The procedures are very clear, and we are doing all that we need to do. When you are making that kind of transition, the process can be a little bit cumbersome. So, and we are going to finalize that, regularize that in the coming days. It's slower than we expected, but it's going to be done. So that's not an issue for us. Then, secondly, you said what process brought me in. The highest organ of the party next to the convention is the National Executive Committee of the party, the NEC of the party. I was at the NEC meeting. I was nominated at the NEC meeting, and I was seconded, and I was appointed as the National Public Secretary of the party in interim capacity, and until the next national convention that will do the ratification. So, I mean, this is the same process that brought other people in, because when officers step down, it immediately means that new officers can be appointed into those positions in interim capacity, and it's only the NEC of the party that can do that. And the NEC of the party did that in the presence of INEC officials who ratified everything that we did. So there's no issues about this. I mean, with due respect, I don't think that is something that should detain us unnecessarily. We are very confident of the process that we've taken, but people are free to amuse themselves whichever way they want. I mean, it's not an issue for us. We just continue to tell our members that we don't have anything to worry about.
That is how you see it, but I'm sure that as a stakeholder within the ADC, it also matters how the people see it, especially the people you would need to vote for you come 2027. As we speak now,
the one I'm talking to. They're the one I'm talking to. They're the one that I'm appealing to, that they should take. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to them.
No. You know, there's a way you were saying that it doesn't matter to us. We don't care what they say. As if it really doesn't matter to the people.
I'm saying, yes. and I will want to urge you to please show some respect, right? Because when you say I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm not doing that. All I'm saying is that we don't have anything to worry about. That the people making these claims, we don't have problems with the process that brought us in, and we're not worried about that. So as far as we are concerned, we're on a good, solid legal footing, And we're just trying to explain to our members that there's nothing to worry about.
But trust me, Mr. Abdullahi, there's no iota of disrespect for you and your party here. And I'm sure that, we're having a very friendly conversation. I was merely dramatizing,
I hope so.
so
dramatize it
there's no
don't,
disrespect at all. But as we speak now, there are questions about spokesperson legitimacy that we've talked about, leadership status, electoral credibility. There are concerns about, isn't this too early for a new coalition? How do you plan to build trust among Nigerians and ensure that ADC is not viewed as unstable or a mere tool of personalities?
But that's exactly the agenda. I mean, the people behind all these shenanigans that you see, what you described is actually the agenda, because when we started the coalition, the ruling party was very clear that we're just wasting our time, that it wasn't going to happen. Then when we eventually announced the coalition on July 2nd, they said, oh, it was dead on arrival. Then several weeks later, they saw the way Nigerians have received the ADC, and the ADC had actually become the de facto opposition party in Nigeria. So we don't expect that the hands that disrupted and unsettled all other opposition political parties are just going to allow us to have a free ride. We envisage all of this, and we are ready for them. So because we know the environment we are coming into, we know we are coming to a hostile political environment that will not allow opposition to thrive. But what we are saying is that a multi-party democracy is better for Nigeria than a one-party democracy. And one-party democracy is only one step to dictatorship. And now that's the justification for the coalition. Now the coalition has taken off. Nigerians have embraced it. And all that we are asking for is for the government and the government operatives who are behind all these things to allow the opposition party to thrive, because it's better for Nigerians. I mean, if they are confident that what they have done is enough for Nigerians to vote for them, then when we arrive at 2027, Nigerians should look at us and say, no, we don't want ADC, we want APC, and go ahead and vote for them. But when you leave people with no option, then you are creating a problem. So, and that's the point we are making. So we are not going to allow ourselves to be distracted by all this, because it's just distraction. And you will see that it's distraction. In the coming days, you will see that it's distraction.